Hello everyone, Melanie here with Not Too Shabby Crochet. Today I'm going to teach you how to crochet amigurumi for beginners by making this adorable little kiwi, Harry the Kiwi, because what better way to learn than by actually making something, right? Let's jump right into the materials and tools you'll need to get started. So first, of course, we'll need our yarn. I use worsted weight or Aran yarn, and this you can find at most craft stores. Red Heart is a really popular brand. I also really like Paint Box yarns. They have a lot of great colors. We'll also need a crochet hook. I use a 3.5mm hook, which is an E4. We'll need some polyester fiber fill. This you can buy at most craft stores as well. It just comes in a big bag of fluff. We'll need some 6mm safety eyes, and these you can find online. We'll need a tapestry needle. I like these little bent ones. They're just a little easier to use. We also have stitch markers. There's a lot of different varieties. These are just the ones that I have. You can also just use a piece of scrap yarn. Optional is also some cosmetic blush, just adds a little extra personality to your pieces, and then of course scissors. So let's start with some basics. I'm going to start with the slip knot, so I'm going to hold my yarn like this. I'll insert my fingers through the loop here, give it a twist, and grab the long working end of the yarn here and pull that through to create a knot. Then we'll insert my hook into that loop and pull it tight. You should pull the end and that little loop should get smaller. When I crochet, I'll hold the piece like this in my right hand. I have the hook in what's called a knife grip. You could also do a pencil grip. This is usually a little more common, but again, I prefer the knife grip. It's just more comfortable for me, so do what works best for you. In the left hand, I have the yarn across my index finger to work off of, and between my fingers and my palm to hold tension. So the next skill we're going to learn is a yarn over, so we'll wrap our yarn around our hook as shown and pull that through to create a chain. Again, yarn over and pull through the loop on our hook to create a chain. And for this, we'll go ahead and do 6 chains, repeating that process over and over again. And so now you should see that we have 6 stitches and then 1 loop around our hook. When we work in chains, we're actually going to start in the second crochet from the hook. So we'll skip that first one, insert our hook into the top strand, yarn over just like we did before, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through both. And this is called a single crochet, and this is the foundational step to all of amigurumi. Really important to learn. So we'll do it again. Insert our hook from front to back, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops on your hook. And so we'll go ahead and repeat those single crochets across the row. Again, insert front to back, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. Let's go ahead and keep practicing that. And so now you can see you have these stitches kind of making a V shape across your piece on the top. And you filled all the stitches in your chain. Now we're going to chain 1. So just as we did before, yarn over, pull through. And then we're going to flip our piece over when we're working in rows. And now insert our hook into the next stitch. And we'll go through both loops this time. Then we'll single crochet. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through both. Again, insert your hook front to back, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both, and we'll repeat until we fill out this row. Last one's a little tricky. There we go. So again, just as before, we'll chain 1, flip the piece, and then we'll go ahead and learn a new stitch. This will be a half double crochet. Creates just a little bit more height, so we'll yarn over first before inserting, then insert our hook into the next stitch, draw up a loop. Now we have 3 on our hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. This is a half double crochet, so again, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, should have 3, yarn over, pull through all 3. And again, we'll repeat this, filling out this row. And again, these stitches just create a little bit more height and are used sometimes throughout amigurumi and mostly when working in rows. So now we'll do a double crochet And so we'll chain 2 to start because this one's a little bit taller. And similar to before, we'll yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. We'll have 3, yarn over and pull through just the first 2, and then yarn over, pull through the second 2. And that is a double crochet. So again, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through just the first 2, and now the second 2. And so we'll go ahead and fill up this row and continue practicing. And so this is how we work in rows, and with this exercise we learned how to do a slip knot, we learned how to chain, we learned how to single crochet, to turn the piece, to do half double crochets, and to do double crochets. Once you finish working in rows, you'll usually do a chain 1 to finish off the piece. You can cut the yarn and pull this all the way through, and that'll create a nice knot to keep it secure. After this, you probably realized that Kiwi doesn't have any squares in it, and so this will be another sad but important lesson in frogging. And so, as you can see, we can just pull that end and unravel the whole piece if we need to, or if we make a mistake. So let's say I made a mistake here, we can pull onto here, insert a hook back into the piece, and continue where we left off and where we made that mistake. But in this case, we're going to frog the whole thing. We don't need this at all. This is just an exercise to get you started and to practice some of our stitches. So we'll pull this completely out, and now we just have a strand of yarn. So now we'll really get started on the Kiwi. We're going to grab our white yarn and create a magic ring or magic circle. I have another video going over this, and I'll link that on the screen, but I'll just show it quickly here. So we're going to start with our tail, wrap that twice around our 2 middle fingers. We'll insert our hook, yarn over, pull up loop, yarn over and pull through to create a slip stitch. Then we're going to single crochet 6 through that loop. Once we finish our 6 single crochets, we'll take out our fingers and tighten our ring. Again, more details in the video linked above. And there we have our magic ring. For the next row, we'll do increases in each stitches, so that's 2 single crochets in each stitch. So we'll insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. That's our first single crochet in the first stitch. We'll do that again in that same hole to finish out our increase. Again, in the next hole, we'll do 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So that is our second increase, and this will be our third increase, and we'll continue working around the piece until we've done all 6 increases. On the 6th increase for the next row, we're going to do a color change, so we're actually going to stop a little bit before we finish that stitch. So we'll insert our hook, drop a loop, and leave 2 loops still on our hook. With the last 2 loops still on your hook, we're going to do what's called a color change. So we'll take our green yarn now and pull up a loop. Make sure we are going to work with the long working end, and we'll continue on with the pattern. So we'll insert our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through. And this time we are doing 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeating that 6 times around. And we can stop here for a second and tie the 2 ends together. So we'll cut our white yarn because we're done with that, and we'll tie these 2 ends together to hold it secure. Then we'll go ahead and back to working on our pattern, which again is a single crochet and an increase, repeating that 6 times around. The next few rows will follow a really similar sequence to what we've been doing, so go ahead and follow the pattern shown on the screen, pause the video. Once you reach row 5, we'll go ahead and restart. Once we finish row 5, we'll put in a stitch marker so our piece doesn't unravel. and continue on to the face. Then we'll insert our safety eyes into the piece. I'm gonna go with something like this. I think it's cute, but feel free to move it around, play around, see what you like, see kind of how the different personalities change as you move the eye placement and the mouth placement. So I'll go with this, then I'll go ahead and grab the washer that comes with these, flip the piece over, and you can see it's kind of ribbed on the back, so we'll just pop that washer on and snap it into place. Do the same thing for the other eye. Snap that washer into place. And there you have your eyes. Next, we'll go ahead and embroider on the mouth. So we'll start with our black yarn and our tapestry needle and thread our yarn through. Leave a little bit of a tail. Then we'll insert the needle from back to front through the piece right next to the right eyeball. Pull that through, and then insert next to the left eyeball straight across. Pull that through loosely, leaving a little bit of a loop. Then again, back to front, we will insert one row below and also through the loop we just made for the mouth and pull that through. Then we'll insert our needle back through that same hole we just came through, and that'll pull down the mouth to create a smile. So we'll pull that tight, and then you can see the mouth. Then we can flip over a piece, cut these extra pieces of yarn, and tie it off to secure. And all these extra tied off ends of yarn will end up inside of the piece, so no need to weave in any ends or clean it all up. No one will see it all anyways. So now we'll go back to working on our piece. We're actually going to do a color change now, so if you remember, we need to stop when we have the last two loops on our hook. So we'll take out our stitch marker and pull back just a little bit, so now we have two loops, and insert our hook back into those two loops just like shown. Then for the color change, we'll grab our brown yarn and pull up a loop, and then continue with the pattern with our brown yarn, making sure we're using the long working end and not the tail. And so then we will insert into the back loop only for this row. So insert back loop only, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through to do our first single crochet, and we'll continue with that around the piece, working only in the back loops, BLO. Continue working this row, pause the video, and we'll check back in when you're done. If you're losing track of your stitch count, you can use a stitch marker to mark the end of your row and just pop it on like this. Then we'll continue with the pattern, which calls for single crochets in each stitch. No need to worry about front or back stitches for this round. Go ahead and complete the next couple rounds shown on the screen, and we'll check back in when you're done. Now that we've finished round 8, we're going to do a series of decreases. So this pattern calls for 3 single crochets and a decrease. And we'll repeat that 6 times. So a decrease, there's a couple ways to do it. This is the first one. So you insert your hook, pull up a loop, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and now you have 3 on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 together. And so this is a single crochet 2 together. Another option is a invisible decrease. So again, we'll do our 3 single crochets and then insert our hook into just the front loop of the next 2 stitches, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through both. So one more time, we'll do our single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then an invisible decrease, which is my preferred method. So we'll insert into the front loop of the next 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And the next few rows, again, just continue with the pattern shown on the screen, and we'll check back in when you're done. Now that we've finished row 11, I'm just going to pull this loop out a bit to keep it from unraveling. Alternatively, you can use your stitch marker. And then we will go ahead and stuff the piece. So we'll grab our fiber fill and just gently shove it into the hole, making sure not to overfill too much or underfill. And this is a little bit too much, so I'll just pop that off here. Kind of mush it around to shape it. Make sure it looks okay. Then we'll go back to our piece, we'll insert our hook, pull that tight, and then do 6 decreases. So again, insert just in the front loop of the next 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And we'll do that a total of 6 times. This is 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then to finish off, we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. So to slip stitch, you're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull through the stitch and the loop. We'll go ahead and pull that out. Snip our yarn, leaving a bit of a tail so we can close off that hole. And pull that tail completely through. Now create a nice secure knot. But as you can see, we still have a hole, so we will grab this yarn end and our needle, thread that through. And to close off this hole, we're going to insert our needle from the center going outwards through each of the front loops. So again, from center outward, going through each loop, just gently pulling, don't pull tight yet. Once we've finished all of the loops, then we'll give it a nice snug pull to close it off. So we worked our way around, and we'll go ahead and pull that tight, kind of hold the piece together and close that hole off. Then we'll insert our needle back through the hole and push it out really anywhere on the body. Pull the yarn through, and then we'll take our scissors and give it a snip really close to the body. Snip. And that little piece of yarn sticking out, we can just squish our piece a little bit and it works its way back in. And there you have it, there's your finished kiwi. And that taught you all the basics of amigurumi. I will have more videos and tutorials of some of the more complex techniques, some of the no-sew techniques that I like to use. But for now, thank you for watching and I'll see you again soon. Bye.